It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com from 1984.
Yes.
An album that actually came out in 83.
Yep.
What are we talking, 33 years ago?
Wow. We're getting old.
I know, it sucks. Van Halen, Hot for Teacher. We've covered a lot of these stories over the last year.
Yes, and they keep on coming.
And I think this one takes the cake.
All right, this is worse than the other ones.
It's not so much worse, it's more excessive.
Okay.
It's not worse, it's just more excessive.
All right.
It's like a Peyton place.
Okay.
I don't know if this is so much an epidemic these days or because of social media or because of, 24-hour news cycle that we're just now finding out about this, that maybe this was going on all along. Mm-hmm. I somehow doubt it. But I just want to know, and I almost feel bad that I'm at the age that I'm at.
Yeah.
Because if these stories are true, and I'm assuming that they are,
mm-hmm.
these faggot kids that we keep talking about are getting some pretty hot snatch.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I'm not understanding why or how this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because it certainly wasn't happening, or at least I wasn't aware of it when I was in high school.
Dude, it's all different now.
It is.
Even forget the teachers for a second. Look at how willing and easily it is now for these kids to get their dick sucked.
Apparently.
Dude, when we were in school, first chick you ever had sex with, did she blow you first or fuck you first?
Well, being that I did not have sex until after I was married.
Really?
Seriously, we had this discussion before.
Just forgot. I forget that horror story. I mean, that true, how you saved it for the right one.
Right. Well, I was only 20, so it's not like I was an old guy first, Oh. But, boy, that's a tough one.
First time you had sex, was it in her pussy or in her mouth?
I'm going to say that it was in her mouth to start.
You think? Okay.
But
I remember in high school, I got a lot of chicks that were willing to fuck, but they weren't willing to suck dick. They were not willing to do that. That was being held out. I remember begging a lot of chicks.
Even a couple of weeks ago when I was there visiting and we talked to our horse-faced waitress.
Yeah.
She said that sucking dick was more intimate than intercourse.
Yes, she did.
She did.
Mm-hmm. But now it seems like it's a lot. Chicks just blow guys, the way that they used to just make out with guys.
Well, once I start getting into the story, I'm sure that our chat room is so quick on the button.
Yeah.
We'll be posting pictures of the perpetrators.
All right.
And you're going to go, God damn it. These chicks are hot.
Let's see. I can't wait.
This was submitted by John Phillips, who is a CMS follower, Twitter follower of mine, etc.
Okay. Awesome.
What sort of school is this? Geography teacher is now accused of a lesbian affair with a teenager after two colleagues had a threesome with a boy.
Wow. Wait a minute. One teacher had a lesbian thing with one student.
Geography teacher is now accused of a lesbian affair with a teenager.
Okay.
After two colleagues had a threesome with a boy.
So 3 teachers in total banged out students.
Yes.
Love this story. I mean, that is really, really uncalled for.
So this is what I'm saying. It's not worse. It's just taking it up a notch or two.
It's fantastic. I mean, terrible that this is going on.
Kimberly Naquin, Naquin.
Please read this story slowly.
26, is accused of having a lesbian affair after a student from Destrehan, Destrehan High School in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Geography teacher was charged with carnal knowledge.
College.
You know, that's the same thing as the Van Halen album for unlawful carnal knowledge. Fuck.
Right.
Of a juvenile and sexual conduct between the educator and a student. Victim was just 16 when the alleged affair began, with most of the claimed encounters taking place at Natquin's home, but some happening at the school. Charges come just months after two other teachers at the same high school were arrested for allegedly having a threesome with a student 17. Shelley DeFresne, DeFresne, 33, and Rachel Respess, Respess. None of these people have like normal names.
Oh, well, whatever. They obviously don't have normal sex lives either.
25 were accused of having group sex with a boy.
Is that these two?
Yes.
Good.
That's what I'm saying.
And the second one looks like...
Yeah, she's a little beat up, but the first one...
Yeah, the first one looks damn fuckable.
Right.
I mean like a deviant that should be jailed.
Right. But this all happened in one school. A third teacher from a Louisiana high school has been arrested for allegedly having sex with a teenage student and is accused of a year-long lesbian affair with a 16-year-old girl. So not only are they banging the boys now, they're also involving the girls.
Mm-hmm. Just disgusting.
Right.
Very disgusting.
Yep. Kimberly Naquin, 26, a geography teacher at Destrehan High School in St. Charles Parish, has been charged with the carnal knowledge of a juvenile and sexual conduct between a teacher and a female student.
Okay.
Her arrest comes just a few months after two of her colleagues at the same school were accused of having a threesome with a 17-year-old boy.
Is that the other one?
Yes.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
All I can hope is that the victims are not too terribly scarred.
They're scarred for life.
I mean, just seeing these beautiful ladies that they're, you know, one. I mean, I can honestly see. And Neeley, stop with the laughing for a minute. Let's be serious here. Obviously, a 17-year-old getting a threesome with two 25-year-olds, that would scar you for life.
Sure.
That would make you not willing to go outside, never want to interact in friend circles, nothing, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
I think I would probably be trapped in my room and consider committing suicide.
Jesus Christ. If this kid didn't have his cell phone out snapping pictures, he is a douche. He's a total fucking doucher.
Did you notice that these stories that we've covered, most of these teachers are hot?
They're very hot. You know what? You know what this has to be? It has to be a dominance thing. Because these chicks are hot, but you know when they're with guys their own age, the guys their own age only give them the fucking satisfaction of being hot until they get their clothes off.
I guess.
And then they just dominate them. But because they're older than these kids, then they can dominate the kids.
I guess.
That's the only way this could...
But this goes back to our discussion about the pussy culture.
Yeah.
These boys are pussies, and they're raised by their mothers.
Right.
So these teachers are taking advantage of these guys who take instruction well, I guess. Gotta
be. Because I know this. I'm looking at the lesbian chick here that was eating out the high school student.
Right.
There's no way in fuck that if she's ever with a dude or a chick her age, she is definitely the girl in the relationship.
Right.
Always. Because she's girly. It's got a nice set of tits.
They were all girly.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe not the one in the red shirt. She looks a little guyish.
Yeah. Naquin is the daughter of St. Charles Parish School Board President Dennis Naquin. And her mother is also a teacher in the area. Wow.
I have an update to that story. The wording has been changed to was.
Right.
Was the superintendent and was a teacher in
Sure. Police started investigating the teacher after a tip-off from a family member of the female student. The girl, who was 16 and 17 during the alleged relationship, told detectives it began around September of 2014 and continued through to August of last year.
Right. And did she tell in tears as she was devastated?
Yeah. That girl, she made me lay on the bed, and she made me pull my panties to the side, and she licked my pussy, and I didn't enjoy it at all.
No one should be flicking my bean but me.
Most of the encounters occurred at Nasquin's home in Kenner.
You know, because the student always ends up at the teacher's home.
Right.
Not voluntarily.
Sure. She just ended up there somehow.
Yeah, she was forced. She was dragged into the car by her hair.
Right. It is claimed, however, some took place at the school.
Nice.
Naquin is being held without bond at the Nelson Coleman Corrections Facility in Kelowna. Her charges come just 3 months after the two colleagues were arrested for allegedly having a threesome with a 17-year-old student.
Man.
So there's a lot of pussy going on down there.
Oh, shit. What do these students look like that the teachers can't wait? Gotta be some good-looking kids.
Shelley Defresna, 32, and Rachel Respris, 24, were arrested in September for allegedly having sex with students who they taught separately. Defresna pleaded guilty to a felony obscenity charge and received a 3-year deferred prison sentence. Of course, they always get off.
Of course they do. It's only the guys that go to jail.
It's the guys who go to jail.
Yeah.
3 years of probation and $1,000 fine.
Yeah, no penetration, no jail time.
Right. She then pleaded not guilty to a separate charge of having sex with the student.
Wow.
Hail and kill, caller, you're on the air.
Neeley, I can't listen to you butcher this woman's name, but one more time. It's Dufresne.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
It's French, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Forgive me.
I don't know about Naquin, but I'm guessing the other one is also probably French.
Okay. I know they're down in Louisiana in the French area, but yes, I am not a scholar of French language, but I appreciate the correction.
And, supposedly in Louisiana they have a different way of doing things. And I guess this story kind of bears that out, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, to say the least.
God damn. I mean, Jesus Christ. The idea of getting one teacher in bed is, outlandish enough. Now, this one kid got two.
One kid got two and one girl got one. All in the same school.
It's Vin Diesel.
And Wendell jealously has to try to characterize all these guys as pussies. They're the one that got the teachers. Wendell didn't.
Now, we don't judge. I'm going to correct you now. We're not judging that part as being pussies. We're judging them crying about it as being pussies.
I don't think that. I don't know if they're even crying about it. But it's when the grown-ups get involved that they suddenly demonize them. I think the kids just go along because guess what? They got their supply cut off.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably how most of these things come to light. The teacher comes to their senses and says, "Hey, we can't do this anymore." And the kid says, "Oh yeah? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell everybody."
Yeah. The kid though should be saying, when the parents are saying we're going to sue that school, the kid should be saying, "No way."
It doesn't matter what the kid says.
Mrs. Jones.
You know what? It doesn't matter what the kid says at this point when the grown-ups get involved.
Yeah, but the kid should at least make his own statement. I liked Mrs. Jones. You know?
Yeah, of course he did.
She was great.
But once it comes out, it doesn't matter because it then becomes a criminal matter.
Yeah, that's true. Then it's an episode of SVU.
I mean, it doesn't matter if the kid gets in court and says, it doesn't matter. I liked having my dick sucked by this teacher. It doesn't matter because, technically the teacher sucking the dick of an underage kid, technically that's a crime. And whether he just by him saying he liked it, it just basically proves that she did it.
And more often than not, these female teachers always get probation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they lose their jobs. They can't ever get hired by a school again.
True.
It just ruins the old adage that you can't rape the willing.
Well, okay.
Apparently you can.
But then who's to say who's willing and who's not willing?
Well, I'm thinking a 17-year-old pulling two teachers is willing.
Sure. Hell yeah, I would too. But whether getting into the whole discussion of whether not raping the willing and all, it kind of skates a little closer to the they asked for it line that of course we're not supposed to use with girls, but is obviously the first line of defense whenever we talk about these things with boys.
Well, right. I want to address here, and Chris kind of addressed it. What is going on with these women who are in their mid-20s, mid-30s, attractive, and they're banging high school students? It's just like, what is going on with your life that it's worth banging a high school student than going after somebody who's at least legal?
Yeah.
I think a lot of these girls haven't actually grown up themselves. Have you ever been around a school recently, Neeley?
No, I haven't been in a school.
What about you, Chris? You got kids, Chris. You've been
I've been around
in a high school, say recently in the last 10 years, right?
Sure.
A lot of the younger female teachers dress like teenagers.
That is true. That's very true.
A lot of the time, the dress code is just as much for the grown-ups as it is for the kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of these new and honestly, the teachers are trying to be cool instead of being authoritative, and there's a lot of that.
I also think a lot of them don't know how else to be, especially the really young ones. They don't know how else to be.
Yeah, they're trying to be everybody's friend.
For whatever reason. I mean, maybe they haven't grown up themselves, like I said.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's always the whole taboo nature of you're not supposed to do this, so it makes it hotter when you do.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, I brought that point up, that it's just like I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, so it just makes it hot.
Whether you're fucking a student or whether you're having sex in somebody's bathroom or any kind of thing that you're not supposed to do is supposed it's hotter that way.
It's crazy. Well, three in one school. That's I think that's a record for us as far as the stories go.
Which is the only thing that makes the story stand out, because usually they follow the same exact story arc.
Yeah. Yep. It really is. That arc is all full of hotness. I mean, awfulness from rape.
The awfulness of never having had it happen to you.
Right.
That's it.
And yes, I'm sitting here having all these old guy regrets. That maybe if I put myself out there a little more and sent the right signals, I could have had this happen to me too.
Yeah.
Now, if I could only just time travel, just time trip back to 1996.
Yeah, but
although you know what, to be 100% honest, most of the teachers I personally had in high school were not particularly attractive.
Yeah, and the thing is that we only had one hot teacher in my school, but the photos of these girls that we've been covering over the last few months, none of them look like anything that I had for a teacher. None of them.
But a lot of the ones that we talk about are on the young side. They're in their 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, there were those women, but I didn't personally have them.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, based on the teachers that I personally had in class, there was one that I did not have, and she wasn't even in our school, but she was a friend of my mom's, sort of, that I really wanted her bad, and she was very attractive. But I don't count her because she wasn't technically my teacher. So just narrowing it down to ones that I actually had as teachers in high school, I would say there's really only one that was doable.
Well, let's play the game the other way, though. If we're all now, me, you, and Neeley are now 15 years old, again, in high school, and the 63-year-old fucking science teacher chick decides it's her turn to suck your dick, and she does, do you feel violated?
I don't think I would have let it get that far, honestly.
But just saying it did. You know, when you're 15, you might not have been able to say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's wrong. 15, you just wanted to get your dick sucked by just about anything with a that was female.
A willing mouth.
Yeah.
I have a couple of examples of those two teachers, of that type of teacher that you described, and I'm picturing them in my mind, and I'm frightened. I don't want that.
Neeley,
I don't want that,
you?
dude. I don't want you, Miss Malley. I don't want you, Miss Orbison.
What about you, Neeley?
I got to be honest with you. I mean, just thinking back about the teachers that I had.
Yeah.
There's not one of them that would have, like, if one of them propositioned me.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have, pursued it.
I would have never said no. I would have never. If our oldest teacher in our school was Miss Dressel, she had to be 163. I mean, she was a biology teacher too, so she smelled like biology. And fucking if she'd offered it up, I'd have taken it in a minute when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Our granny sucked.
But you're fucked up, Chris.
Well, maybe I am, but when I was 15, I just wanted to get my dick sucked.
Right.
I had standards even when I was that age.
Yeah, I agree with Doghouse.
No, we had the perfect scenario when I was a senior. We had Miss Orbison, our English teacher. Yeah. She was really big on having us. It was honors English. Couldn't tell, right?
Right.
So we had to do these conferences with her after school when we had to. We would come in and she would basically rip our essays were. She would rip them to shreds. But we had to come in for an hour after school. Perfect time for getting laid, right?
Right.
But she was a crazy cat lady, if you know what I mean. She was about probably in her 60s by that point. Smelled like cat pee. Was a little bit wacky. You didn't want that, dude. You just sat there. You just wanted to get through the hour. And, obviously nothing untoward happened.
Yeah, but you guys aren't answering my question. I'm not saying would you have let it happen. I'm saying it happened. It was the weird situation. You got intimidated into it, whatever. Before you knew it, she was on her knees and your dick was in her mouth. Would you feel violated enough to go and report it?
No.
I think I would have felt so violated I probably would have not reported it out of shame. Out of shame.
Out of shame? You held it over her head.
You couldn't out of shame because when you report it, guess what? Everybody knows that you got your dick sucked by Miss Orbison.
Right.
You don't want that around.
I think I might have been holding over her head saying, I better get an A and I'm not coming to your class anymore.
I was getting A's already. I didn't need the A's.
You're brilliant. I was at 2.1 at best.
Nah, man, English was my thing. The thing I needed help in was Spanish. And we had a Spanish teacher that was pretty milfy.
Nice.
And she had big tits. And I accidentally touched her butt one time.
Accidentally.
I'm walking. See, I sat in the front row. She's standing in front of my desk, leaning over, talking to the person in the second row. So if I'd been sitting in the desk, I'd have had a face full of titty, right?
Right.
But I'm walking in the door, and I've got an armful of books, and the back of my hand just ran right across, full length across her ass.
Nice.
Isn't that interesting that after all these years, it's still a very vivid memory for you?
I know there must be something wrong with me. I must live in this interior world.
Sure.
I live inside my head. And then to have a threesome. What about take your top three and have an orgy with them?
Yeah.
So they're married, okay. Have a wife swap. Even for Chris?
No, not even a little bit. Are you kidding me? Dude, there's no sexual deviancy that I wouldn't probably do, that as long as it's hetero.
At least that involves a pussy, right, Chris?
Yeah, if it's hetero, I'd go for it. Why not?
Oh, okay.
Believe you me, back when I was married, I'd have traded my wife for anything.
Nice.
The old take my wife, please.
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to fuck that tire you got in the backyard? All right, here, fuck my wife. I don't care.
God damn.
Wow.
Both the same amount of tightness.
Wow.
Oh, you made her pop out 4 kids, Chris.
3.
Oh, okay.
Just 3, and 2 came out at once. Hence the tightness joke.
On that note, I must be going.
Hail and kill.
Fuck you, pal.
All right. To finish up the story,
Yeah.
the 17-year-old boy at the heart of the group sex scandal is said to have an ongoing affair with Dufresne,
All right.
his 11th grade English teacher at Destron. Yeah, I guess. According to the police, she picked him up after a Friday Night Lights high school football game on September 12th and drove him to Respice's apartment in Kenner, Louisiana, where she had only moved 2 weeks previously after living with her parents.
Wow.
Respice and Dufresne were caught after the boy told his friends he was having sex with 2 of his teachers. Respice was originally accused of engaging in group sex there with Dufresne and the student. However, she has now been charged with failing to report a felony and pleaded not guilty. Failing to report a felony?
On herself?
Apparently.
That's not... Yeah, I thought you had like an amendment right to not incriminate yourself.
Well, Louisiana, as Doghouse said, Louisiana is a little bit different down there.
Yes.
The 2 teachers could be sentenced up to 17 and a half years in prison if convicted.
17 and a half years.
Yeah.
Phew.
Yep.
Jeez, oh man.
So there you go. So 3 teachers all in one school.
Yeah. Willing to sacrifice 17 years because they weren't willing to go to a bar.
Right.
Just put a sign on their table that says, I'm looking for a cock tonight.
Exactly.
Jeez, oh man.
Banging out the teachers.
That is
or
something.
banging out the students, rather.
Yeah, no shit. Ooh.
So, wow. All right. It never ends, does it?
No. I'm sure next week you're going to have another teacher.
Sure.